Hello and welcome to my channel, and today I'm bringing to you the fourth installment of my little video series on my restoration of my G1 Ultra Magnus figure. So this is video number 4, and yeah, it's been it's been a while since the last one. The last video number 3 went out on the 8th of April, and it's been like over 7 weeks since I did the last video. And you'd think after all that time I would have actually made some significant progress on the figure, but actually realistically I've barely touched it. I've barely touched it in all that time, and the reason being is that the last video you saw I did remove the decals from the figure, and that was the last sort of restoration update that I did. But the same day I did that, in fact the same morning I did that, after I'd taken the decals off, I took all the parts downstairs and I washed them in warm soapy water, cleaned them, blah blah blah, did all the washing and the cleaning, and then dried the parts. And that I filmed all that, and there was quite a bit of footage after I'd filmed these two things. I decided to split the video into two. So the video I did last time was the decal removal, which was video number 1, and this is video number 2. This is the second part of that session that I did back in beginning of April. Now also during this time, this 7 weeks, I have managed to get quite a lot of parts, but I will get into them at the end of the video. In the meantime, sit back and relax if you can do that, and watch the video sequence of me doing the cleaning of the parts, which I'm going to show for you now. Okay, the next process is washing. So I've got all the plastic parts laid out down here next to the sink. I've just run out some hot water. You don't want it too hot, obviously. You don't want boiling water because you're going to be sticking your hands in it. Just reasonably hot water from the hot water tap, and then put in a big squirt of washing up liquid, and then mix it up so it's nice and frothy. And then start putting your parts in. Obviously you want all your plastic parts for this process, not just the ones you take the decals off. So stick them in, let them have a good soak for a few minutes. Right, and you'll let your parts have a little bit of a soak, so get like a nail brush or something, and then grab a part and then just give it a nice scrub with the warm soapy water. Now I've developed this cleaning technique from when I was working on my ready control cars, because I had to, over the years now, I've collected a load of cars and some of them were dirty, and I've restored a number of them. And that's where I got my sort of modelling skills were developed, in restoring plastic toys. And I developed this cleaning process for my ready control cars, and it worked really well, and I thought, well, let's try it on Transformer toys. And I've did that restoration on G1 Spinister, and he went quite well for it. So I'll give that part a quick scrub. It's one of the side pieces for the chassis, and you just put it there when it's done, and then just move on to the next piece and repeat. So you just go around all sides as best you can. Don't go over the top with the scrubbing, just give it a light scrub, and just keep dipping it to keep it wet. And this will get any dirt or grease off the parts that they've accumulated over the years, because that's what the detergent's in there for. Right, so that's that part, and then we'll just carry on and speed this up. Into some of the harder to reach places, you might not want to use an old toothbrush or something, just to get on the inside if your bigger brush can't get in there. Just give it a good scrub in there. Again, you don't want to be too vigorous while you're brushing these parts or scrubbing them, because again, this is a toy that's over 30 years old, plastic's old and brittle, and certain smaller parts, if you put excessive pressure on them while you're cleaning them, might cause them to break, so just be wary of that. Right, so you drain the water out once you're finished, and then obviously swirl the bowl out, get rid of all the suds. Okay, so there you've got all the parts all, with soap and suds on them after they've been washed. So the next stage, once you've swilled the sink out, is to get the water running and then gently rinse all the parts, just to get the any of the soapy residue off, and then just put them on the draining board for now. And there we have all the parts all nice and swilled off, and obviously now just got to dry them. Drying's fairly straightforward. Just get a part onto a towel. If there's any loose water on it, shake it off, and then give it a quick wipe over with a towel. And then if there's any leftover moisture on it, it'll just air dry. Get most of it off. There we go. And then just work your way through the parts one at a time until they're all nice and dry. And there we go. As you can see, the parts are all now cleaned and dried. So we've removed the decals, we've washed them down in soapy water, swilled them off, rinsed them down, and now dried them off, and they're all ready to go, ready for reassembly and new decals and such. So that's this stage of the restoration now completed. Moving on to the next. Yeah, so as you can see, I went and took all the parts, I washed them in warm soapy water, cleaned them, dried them, and ended up with, here's the main deck piece from the trailer. As you can see, it's all nice and clean and shiny. All decals have been removed. It's in, perfect condition. Now, then, obviously, I haven't actually done anything physically to the figure in the last 7 weeks, but I have been buying the parts that I need. And as I said in my earlier videos, G1 Ultra Magnus has got a lot of spare parts. If you start out like I did with just the cab of the trailer, then there are 12 parts in total that you need to get to complete the figure. You know, because you've got 4 fists, you've got 2 small fists, 2 big fists, you've got 2 missile launchers, 2 missiles, and then you've got the head, the waist piece, the chest piece, you know, all these other bits that you've got to get in order to complete the figure. And it can be an expensive game buying all these parts individually off eBay. So I set myself a budget of, you know, £3 per part, which when you times it by 12, you get 36 quid. So an overall budget, 36 quid to buy all these parts in and try and do this restoration on a budget. I mean, overall, you know, if you can spend more money than that on getting the parts in, but then you run the risk of spending more money on parts than it would be to buy a complete figure, a used figure, but in complete condition with all its bits for less money. So it's a bit of a fool's game doing this, but I've decided to go and do it anyway. And yeah, so I went ahead and started picking up parts. Now, I did have trouble after getting the initial set of parts, which I showed in video number 1, which was a chest, a waist, a small fist, and a gun. I got them, you know, all of those parts under my target price of £3 each. But the other parts after that, I struggled a little bit because, especially buying individual parts, a lot of the time, you know, you'd see a part for like £2.50, and then it'd have like £1.45 postage on it or something. So it would be over my £3 threshold. So what I had to do was I then had to buy lots of parts, and these were few and far between. But I managed to do some good stuff. But to start with, the first lot of bits I got was these, and the first piece, this head sculpt, was sent to me by Dean F-Stop Cornea from Transformers and Such web Facebook group. When I did my first video, he put a comment on my video to say, "Oh, I've got a Magnus head knocking around somewhere, and you can have it." And it took him a little while to get around to sending it to me, but this arrived on the 18th of April. Obviously, I did my my previous video on the 8th of April, so these are bits that arrived after that. So I got the head sculpt, and it's the one without the painted face. Plastic's yellowed on it a little bit, but then again, a lot of the parts on this G1 Magnus figure have yellowed, so that's neither here nor there really. So got that. So cheers, Dean. Thanks for sorting that out for me. And then I bought off eBay, I got a missile launcher and 2 short missiles. Now this missile launcher doesn't have a spring in, but it's got the little button, so it plugs in there. It doesn't fall out, and then you go boom like that. So yeah, so I've got those bits that I picked up on the and I got them on the 24th of April, and obviously this bit was free. Now the missile launcher, I did pay over the odds for it. I paid £3.80 for this missile launcher on its own, so that was a bit pricey, but because I'd saved money on some of the parts I bought previously, I was ahead of the game. I had a bit of money in hand, so I was able to spend a little bit more money on getting that missile launcher. And the missiles were £2.90 each, so I got those. And then when I got my original part slot, in it was the waist piece, and I had a problem. It won't fit on here. It won't plug in. Look, it just will not plug in. It's supposed to plug into there, but you see, it doesn't plug in. And the reason being, if you look on the back, it's got these round circular pegs, and I think they're slightly oversized for the holes. And somebody told me that there's about half a dozen different versions of the waist piece with different sort of tolerances on these pegging ports. And yeah, so that one doesn't fit. Now this came in the original part slot, so then I went out and I got another one. I got a second one. So yeah, so I've got 2 now. I noticed that a lot of Magnus figures come with 2 parts, 2 waist parts anyway, so I thought, well, okay, I'll go for it. But theoretically this is an extra part that I bought, and I paid £2.09 for it, and it arrived on the 3rd of May, but this one doesn't fit either. So yeah, wasted my money on that. So then it was, you know, looking on eBay. I saw a number of lots of parts that came up, but I was bidding on them, and then, you know, somebody else came along, and I had a set price because of the number of parts that was in there that I was bidding on, and somebody bid slightly over the price I was prepared to pay, so I lost out on a couple of parts lots. And that isn't until a couple of days ago. Yeah, another parts lot came up on eBay, and it had a number of duplicate parts, but it also had a lot of parts in it that, you know, I need. And so I bid on it the other night and won it, and I got it for a really good price, and it arrived today. Now, before I actually show you the parts that I've got, I want to show you the package it came in. This is the box that it came in, right? Bear in mind, there's like G1 Ultra Magnus parts in here. So this was the box that came, right? So you open it up, and inside you've got screwed up paper, right? And then you've got a smaller box inside with a label on the top. And you open that, and it's full of packing chips, right? Full of packing chips. So empty them out. And then inside is a paper wrapper. So you open out the paper wrapper, and inside was some bubble wrap, and inside the bubble wrap was 3 packets of parts. So I got a spare chest piece and a head sculpt, a load of white plastic parts, and an instruction manual. Now, these parts I paid, it was just over 11 quid. But when I totted up the individual part price, for the parts that I needed, I was only paying like £1.23 each, so there was well under the budget. This was £1.22. Now, because I've got these parts, I now have all but one of the parts that I need to complete this restoration. I'm just missing one of the large fists. So there is a number of duplicate parts. Now, it came with another waist piece, which, third time lucky, actually fits. See? It fits on, so yeah, it came with a waist piece that works, so third time lucky on that. 2 missile launchers, but as you can see, this one's got the little tab in it, and these ones, the tabs are missing, and also they're kind of broken. I don't know what's been going on there. Yeah, so they're bust. The tabs are bust off inside. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some plastic card, and I'm gonna put a dummy trigger in them to make them look correct, so I can work on those. 1 large fist and 2 small fists. I've already got one of the small fists, but these ones, if you can see, come on, anyway, they've got this mucky stuff around the end. It's actually blue tack. It's like old congealed blue tack, so obviously the person who had this figure had problems with warm pegs on the fists, and they wouldn't stay on the white prime, so he put blue tack on there to hold them in place. Of course, there are other ways and means around that. You just get a bit of something on the peg to widen it out, and it'll fit properly, you know, like nail varnish or super glue or something like that, or floor polish if you can get hold of that future floor polish. So yeah, so I've got those, and the only thing I'm missing is the other one of the big fists. So I've got the left hand fist, I just need the right hand one. So, and there's one on eBay at the moment which finishes at was it 20 past 11 tonight. It's a bit pricey, but because of the way I've been pricing up these parts, because I've saved money on some parts, I've got some money in hand. Well, for the original expenditure I was set aside to buy the parts that I need. When you take into account the extra parts that I've bought, it sort of goes a bit over budget. But I've only got one part to go. I might as well go for it. But hopefully later on tonight I'll be pulling the trigger on that. And that's basically where we are right now. I've got nearly all the parts I need. Watch the trailer, it's all nice and clean, and the next video, which hopefully you won't have to wait 7 weeks for before you see it, hopefully I'll do it in the next couple of weeks, might start reassembling the trailer. There is some repairs I need to do because there's some damage on some of the trailer bits. That, you know, the way the shoulders tab in when you transform into robot mode, the tabs are broken on the tabbing section for the shoulders, so I need to try and figure out a way to fix that. But I've got an idea how I could do that. But anyway, that's been me. That's been my update on my G1 Ultra Magnus. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Moving on to the next one, which will be whenever it is. But obviously sometime next month, hopefully in the next, not in the next 7 weeks. So that's been me, TFR Wilderness. Hopefully you've enjoyed this little series I've been doing on this G1 Ultra Magnus restoration. And I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.